Money FM 89.3, the best of the afternoon update. The afternoon update with Lynlee Foo.
That's right, you're with me this Monday afternoon. Welcome to Industry Insight, where we unpack the forces shaping key sectors across Singapore and Southeast Asia. I'm Lynlee, and today we're taking a closer look at a profession undergoing sweeping transformation just beneath the surface. The legal sector. In courtrooms and corporate firms alike, legal work is changing, not just because of AI or automation, but because of talent shortages, evolving client demands, and the urgent need to rethink how the profession trains and retains its people. Joining us now is someone right at the heart of this transformation, Yeong Zee Kin, Chief Executive of the Singapore Academy of Law. Zee Kin, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Lynlee. Glad to be on it.
Now, let's start with the big picture. There's been a lot of talk about how generative AI is reshaping industries, and law is clearly one of them. But from your perspective, leading the Singapore Academy of Law, how exactly is legal work changing today?
Well, I would say, starting first with the topic of generative AI, it's going to affect the legal profession in at least one or two ways, right? First, generative AI is going to be used by clients. They will be able to ask questions about the legal strategy, use it to generate draft agreements. Not that these are going to be useful, but they will be able to access information like that. And when they start approaching lawyers for advice, the expectations will be higher. So that's something that all lawyers will need to deal with and have to bear in mind. The second is that lawyers will also need to understand how to use these tools for their own work. They need to be familiar with some of these tools and know how to use it to support their legal research and use it in the right way. So teaching lawyers how to use generative AI tools is going to be important, and that's one major area of investment. For example, we've put out a guide on prompt engineering for lawyers with specific examples, right, of how to prompts for legal tasks. But the more important area that we are looking at is how will generative AI, when it makes its way into law practices, affect the way lawyers learn and how we train lawyers for this new world? We expect that training runway will be shorter, so which means that the way we train lawyers will have to be different. And that's an area that we are actively looking into, working with partners like the Institute of Adult Learning.
Okay, Zee Kin, before we get into the learning and training part of things, I'd like to talk about how you mentioned that Gen AI is kind of pushing up the value of skills. And I think that's such a key point, because there's always this perception that AI will automate everything. But in reality, what it's doing, at least to me, is that it's elevating the importance of human insight as well.
Definitely. It's very good at collating information and presenting information. I think a lot of us are using that in place of, or maybe in addition to the normal search that we do on Google or whatever, right? So previously we had to search, and then we had to try and understand the information. A lot of the generative AI tools, the Chat GPT, Copilot, these kind of tools, they're able to give us an overview, a summary. It helps us because it collates and presents a bit of an excerpt. But that's only part of the work. The important bit for us is that for lawyers, it is the ability to understand the facts, to analyze the situation, to advise clients on proper legal strategy, to craft legal solutions, whether these are dispute resolution strategies or agreements. That's the part where the lawyers come in. And up until now, what I've seen in tools that are powered by Gen AI, they're good at giving you a first draft, but a lot of work still needs to be done.
Okay. Can you share a real-world example of how a firm or in-house legal team has adapted successfully to such changes?
Well, I think that there are different types of law practices that are using it differently. Some have invested in legal research tools like Harvey. right? They bring legal research to a totally different level. I know that other legal research platforms like LexisNexis and Thomson Reuters, they are integrating Gen AI into their platform as well. So these will help lawyers when they conduct legal research to be able to be more efficient, and also some of them start presenting draft contracts, right, that they can use as a starting point. Right? They still need to apply the legal training.
So do you think regulatory frameworks are keeping up with these changes, or are lawyers now working in a bit of a grey zone?
Oh, I think not. I think that has been quite a bit of a discussion and guidance in the regulatory arena, particularly for legal professions. So, for example, the Supreme Court has issued a registrar circular. I think that there was either last year that they issued it, right? Setting out very clearly, right, that lawyers, when they use these tools, must still hold themselves up to the high standards of professionalism that is expected of them. And also that if a piece of work, right, is tendered in court, used in a court proceeding, and should the judge happen to ask, right, and want to find out whether generative AI tools have been used to support the production of that work, then there is an obligation to respond and disclose when asked. So there are some of these guidelines already given. Even the Academy of Law, when we issued our prompt engineering guide last year, we had a page of do's and don'ts. So apart from reminders of professional responsibility, disclosure, right, something very close and important to lawyers is also clients' confidentiality. So selecting the right level of service that offers a protection over clients' data and confidentiality is also something that lawyers are reminded through this kind of guidance to look out for when they choose the tools that they want to subscribe to use.
Okay, Zee Kin, let's talk about talent. There's been a lot of concern about junior lawyers burning out or leaving the profession. From where you stand, what's driving this attrition?
Well, I think that there are push and pull factors, right? So let's talk about the pull factors. The legal industry today presents a lot of different options for young lawyers. Young lawyers can choose to pursue a career in private practice, and that's well known, tried and tested. But over the last 20 years or so, what has opened up is actually a career as an in-house lawyer. And some of these opportunities are actually in multinational corporations where once you join them, well, the world becomes your oyster. Right, you can pursue your career as an in-house lawyer in many parts of the world that the MNC operates in. So these are some of the pull factors. There's a lot. There are options open to young lawyers. So I think that's something that we need to bear in mind when we engage in this kind of discussion. That it is actually a positive thing for lawyers in Singapore. And then, of course, there are push factors. But these things I see, we need to admit, right, that lawyers are service providers. We serve clients. It could be clients that your law firm, that engages your law firm, or if you're in an MNC, these are internal clients. As service providers, we provide a service. Our clients themselves face competitive pressures. They are competing globally for business, right? They have pressures themselves. So when they come to lawyers and they seek advice, they are under time pressure, they are under commercial pressure. So we will also be under pressure as well. And sometimes this will culminate in short timelines, the need to turn around work very quickly, to work under pressure. And some, right, feel that these are push factors. So I would say that we need to understand and contextualize some of these things.
I think many junior lawyers enter practice without enough, I suppose, structured development. So that's where the Singapore Academy of Law's Junior Lawyer Certification Program comes in, isn't it?
Yes. I would say that I've gone through this journey myself. Coming out of law school, passing my postgraduate law degree, right, nowadays they call it the Part B. Those were very good preparation for knowledge of law and the beginnings of technical legal skills. But then, while standing where I was at the beginning of my career, suddenly I discovered that as a business, right, law requires more than just knowledge and technical skills. It requires us to learn the business side of law, the ability to work with teams, lead teams eventually, manage projects, deliver on projects, manage resources, how to think about integrating technology into our processes, build up a business, reach out to clients, grow your book of business. These are what I refer to as the business and management part of legal practice that exists both in private practice and also in-house. This is one aspect that we hope that our junior lawyers certification program, well, it will not turn junior lawyers into junior partners overnight, can prepare junior lawyers to think about these as essential skills that they need to start picking up, even as they are young lawyers starting out. We have other programs that will help lawyers who are more advanced and more senior and take these discussions at a higher level. But even for junior lawyers, it provides a framework for them to start thinking about these issues and start being exposed to the need to develop some of these skills alongside the development of their technical legal skills.
I would think it's also about building confidence and capability early on. Do you think, Zee Kin, that Singapore's legal industry is keeping up globally in terms of workplace flexibility and professional development?
Well, I wouldn't be able to say that with any amount of confidence or certainty because I haven't done that kind of survey. But I would say that our market is open. There are MNCs who are here with legal departments. There are international law firms operating here. Some of our law firms operate globally as well. So I think that having our doors wide open to these kind of exchanges of experiences, movements of people, I think that we are open, right? And we have every opportunity to learn from the best. And I think it is up to us, right, to make sure that every single last law practice step up and keep up.
Okay. The Singapore Academy of Law recently also launched the Training Pledge with over 50 firms committing to structured learning for their juniors. What can you tell us about that? What were those behind-the-scenes conversations like?
So we fully understand that the solution to training lawyers isn't just providing the content and a structured training program. That provides a structure, but you need commitment, both for the individual who wants to take this program, as well as the employer to provide nurturing environments in the workplace. So for the individual, by the time they sign up for this program, that is in and of itself sufficient commitment. Because by taking on this program, they do more than necessary to satisfy any requirement for continuing professional development hours. So for them, that's a commitment. But for the employers, how can we make sure that we identify a group of employers who are prepared to support training? We develop this pledge. By signing the pledge, essentially the employer is saying that I'm committing to sending my employee to training, safeguarding time so that the employee have a presence of mind and concentration during the training, right? And also providing some direction in the kind of training training courses that they should be taking so that they are able to use this training to develop expertise. And finally, the fact that the employers sign this kind of pledge is a commitment that they will also complement and supplement, right? What happens in the classroom with what happens in the workplace. Because I really, really must emphasize that it's in the daily interaction between a junior lawyer and a senior lawyer where lessons that you learn in the classroom are played out, right? And you actually internalize some of these things through actual cases, through actual interaction, and through activities that and conversations that the junior and senior lawyers have.
Well, Zee Kin, it does sound like a coordinated culture shift and not just a checklist.
Oh, definitely. I think that what at the Academy of Law we are trying to achieve is really to change culture and move right in the right direction. So the Junior Lawyers Certification Program is not the only intervention that we are introducing. Later on in July, we have a Legal Profession Symposium, which will dive much deeper into some of these workplace issues and to see how we can co-create solutions so that as a whole, the profession can tackle some of these issues and move ahead.
Okay. Are there big differences in how large firms versus smaller practices approach training and culture?
I would say that definitely there will be differences between large firms and small firms. Larger firms, because of the ability to pool resources, they are able to have a bit more structure internally. Smaller firms, the ability to find this kind of efficiency may not be to the same level. So what we hope at the Academy of Law to be able to provide is a bit of a structure for everyone to benefit from. So our program is open to both large and small firms. The things that we introduce through the pledges and some of the new solutions that we hope to develop will be available for all firms to take and use internally. And we also hope to provide some kind of support structure for like-minded employers to also find support from each other. So these are some things that we are currently are developing.
Okay, let's pull back to the macro view. What's Singapore's long game for its legal industry?
I dare not speak for the long game because that's something the ministry will be able to speak to.
In your opinion?
Looking at the direction and the trajectory of the legal profession, I think the legal profession, the legal sector in Singapore is a key contributor to, I would say a key contributor to GDP, but significant contribution given our size, right? The reputation of Singapore for justice, rule of law is also absolutely important, and that's something that has helped burnish our status as a global hub as well. So I think investment to make sure that the legal profession is able to support our ambitions in rule of law, providing a good justice system, not only for ourselves, but also for global commerce that has a link to Singapore. Those are important things for us to invest in, and that's why we are doing so much work here.
All right. Thank you so much, Zee Kin, for your time and your insights. It's a very wide-ranging and thoughtful conversation indeed. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Lynlee.
And he is Yeong Zee Kin, CEO of the Singapore Academy of Law. You're listening to Industry Insights on Money FM 89.3.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.